Right, we're recording, I think.
Okay, great.
You ready, Eddie?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this video interview I'm doing for Freedom of Mind.
Hello. First of all, thank you for doing this for us today, this series on masculinity.
Cheers. Hi, Alex. Thank you for joining me in this conversation about men's mental health.
Great. I prepared like 3 questions just to ask you about, again, this theme about masculinity and mental health. And yeah, kind of the first question I'd like to ask is,
how are you?
First off, how are you doing?
How are you?
How are you? Like, how are you doing?
I'm good. Busy with my last term of my undergrad degree.
I'm fine. I can't really complain. Reading week, essay writing week, but what more can we really wish for?
Just like
At least the weather's nice.
Yeah, good. And you?
Yeah, really good. Really good. How you finding lockdown?
Tough. No, it's no good. Miss the pub, the football, but yeah, it's all right. It's getting there. It's easier. I think it's easier than November and spring.
I'm doing pretty well. I'm feeling all right actually. I think I'm in a good place, enjoying everything as well as much as I can. Really,
it's good. You're enjoying lockdown 3 then.
As things go, I think it's the best one so far. This series keeps getting better.
Oh yeah.
What an exciting time to live in.
When we publish this video in March. Awkward if it was horrible and people would looking at this thinking, oh well, I can't feel good now because the weather's bad.
No, I mean, sad is a real thing though. People often feel really affected by the season, so we're coming out of that. So I guess that's impactful. There you go, nuanced discussion. That's what mind wants.
On to the questions. What do you do when you're struggling with your mental health?
I really should probably have like a go-to answer or something I do, and I think that's kind of the problem is I don't have a thing I tend to just do, whether that's go talk to a certain person or go do something. I don't think I necessarily have something I go to do. I think I exercise a lot. I don't know whether that's just because I'm then not around people and I quite like just sometimes being by myself. But then I also just lie on my bed and do nothing to be by myself. And I know one feels a lot healthier than the other. There's a way of dealing with the struggle. But when I'm feeling nice and good, I might chat to someone about it. And that's usually, it feels like, oh, this is what I'm meant to be doing. This feels like the right thing to do.
What do I like to do? I like to go for a walk. Plenty of walking routes around here. It's quite nice. Take your music with you. Quite enjoy it. A bit of peace. Yeah, it's good to get out the house. And if you prefer walking with other people, then take some other people. But I like to just be by myself, go for a wee walk.
Same as most people. I tend to sleep a lot more. I always try and get outside, walk to uni. I mean, prep subscription's a great thing because then you have to get up before 3 o'clock, which if you're feeling a bit down is sometimes a bit more of a struggle, especially given your tendency to drink and try and socialize more in a negative way.
When I feel down or even any bad emotions like anger, I usually take walks just by myself, like half an hour to just clear my head and I guess distract myself from whatever caused the bad feelings.
Yeah, I mean, not everyone has set coping strategies. Like, not everyone thinks, oh, I feel sad today, I'm going to go do some yoga or meditate. Like, sometimes it is just about feeling what you want to do in the moment, I guess.
Yeah, and if that is sit down and binge watch Netflix for 10 hours.
Exactly. As long as it makes you feel long-term good and isn't just like a short-term kind of way out, then
that's the game though. You never know until you do it. You're like, oh, how do I feel at the end of today?
Do you think about your mental health a lot? Do you think about it?
Yeah, I try to. I try to think if I'm happier now that I'm removed out the house, and 90% of the time, yeah, it does help. And then I find that once I finish my walk and I go back, then I'm a much happier than I was when I left. I find it helps.
About being in the house that is disruptive to your mental health.
I just think there's no escape. It's either uni or home. There's no pub. There's no sport on Wednesdays and Saturdays. It's just the same each time.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you like a walk?
That's a nice little link to a talk about masculinity, though, isn't it? Pub and football.
Thinking about masculinity and kind of how the two interact, do you think that any of these strategies and things that you do are shaped by kind of expectations of masculinity and social norms, I guess? I mean, exercise definitely is one that sounds like, but
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, the one that I think definitely does, because I've seen it sort of change in my life as I've sort of grown up. I mean, from like 18 to 20, that stage of like where I really feel like I've grown up,
yes.
is the talking to people one, which I feel is always the best thing, to be able to actually tell people actually it's been a bit rubbish.
I don't really talk about it much. I probably overthink it.
Do you not talk about it with, like, I assume you talk about it with your girlfriend, Sophia? Do you not talk about it with her?
Yeah, I'd say that I'd hint at it a lot, but I wouldn't necessarily just explicitly go out there and say I feel depressed today, because like while it's nice that she gives me attention, I feel
You feel guilty.
Necessary. Yeah, and like I don't really need it. I'll probably be fine tomorrow, sort of thing. So it's like,
Yeah, don't want to burden her with,
the
like,
relationship is like the unstable one.
yeah.
Like, we always have to look after Jack because he's depressed.
Yeah, men are often socialized to deal with problems on their own rather than in a team. And perhaps I like to walk alone because I was socialized as a male instead of talking to a friend or a therapist and so on. So yeah, perhaps I could maybe I should question how my coping mechanisms reflect not necessarily what helps me best, but what I was taught to do.
Do you consider yourself as a masculine man? Do you think you're quite a manly bloke?
No. Oh, Jamie, I don't like that question. I don't know.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't know what to say there, because I do like to think I am, but then, as you say, I'm the biggest pussy you've ever met in your life. So, yeah, I would say I'm a manly man. I'd say I'm a bloke.
Yeah. Thing is, when you talk about being called a pussy, what do you reckon the negative elements of that that title are? Are you concerned about people thinking you're a pussy?
I don't know. Yeah, of course you're concerned about people calling you that.
Not any less of a person for it.
No.
Do you reckon that that is a categorization that is a tool of toxic masculinity? Do you reckon that the discerning between someone who's a pussy and someone who's a blokey bloke, do you reckon that would be framed in a conversation about toxic masculinity?
Yeah, I do, because it makes a divide. It makes men want to be one thing and not another, when that doesn't have to be a thing. It makes, if you are quite weak or effeminate and you don't want to be picked on, then you push more to try and be a bloke when there's no need for it.
Yeah, I think so as well. And that's when the going full circle back to the talk about mental health, and it's the contesting of trying to impress people with how you present yourself, and then also trying to represent however you best feel about yourself at the same time. And that's the thing that might knock on, have a bad effect on your mental health.
I lived in an all boys boarding house.
Okay.
So I lived with 60 other guys every day, 24/7. Eat with them, sleep with them, every meal, all in the same house. That's quite a masculine environment. And there was an awful lot of toxic masculinity kind of vibe there. And you couldn't display any weakness or anything like that. It sounds really, I don't know, it sounds bad and cliche, like a bit of a stereotype of it. But it was to some extent kind of true. Even if you did, if someone did, I don't think anything bad would have happened. It wasn't like they would have been bullied or anything.
No.
Especially me, I had really good friends. It's just that I felt like it wasn't the place for it. And that's very different coming to university, where I'm surrounded especially where like living a lot closer to girls and stuff. And I don't know whether that's masculinity or whether just a different type of people, but I feel like that's definitely helped.
Especially in England, I think Englishmen's approach to mental health is honestly some of the worst I've ever seen. You go to other countries and the men are not crying, but they're more, they accept, they feel emotions. In the UK, it feels like no matter what, you're meant to just not feel anything.
Yeah.
And if you do discuss it, everyone gets very awkward and starts to close up.
I think it varies, right? So we're all ruled by this like hegemonic masculinity sort of.
Hegemonic masculinity.
It's a word.
Some words.
One we want to overcome.
Yeah, just another question. Why do you think I'm asking you these questions today? Like, why do you think it's important to talk about the link between masculinity and mental health?
Statistically speaking, it's much more likely you commit suicide if you're male or brought up as a male. And I guess that's the extreme end, right? There's lower levels of just mental health issues that are probably higher in men than in women. So it's important to, I guess, help address that imbalance. I mean, we don't only care about the imbalance, obviously. We want to minimize mental health problems for everyone. But those disproportionately affected, we should try and help them a bit more, maybe. So, yeah, it's important that men think about how their masculinity might impede their health or their healing from mental health issues.
Yeah.
You cry?
Yeah. Yeah. For a long time I didn't. And actually, a long time I didn't. And then a couple of times in not too distant history where I've actually cried because I felt like it's all a bit too much, or like I'm always feeling a bit like genuinely under pressure, and it felt like a build up and then a release, and that was it was quite, especially the first time it happened. Looking back on it like an hour later, it was quite a unique experience. It's quite interesting seeing how your emotions are tempered by your surroundings.
I mean, I think that's the thing with masculinity and how it can affect people. It's never, or it's rarely individuals. There's not that many people I can point to and think your sort of overt masculinity makes me uncomfortable. However, it's like the group dynamics where things just don't feel comfortable. And if no one's talking openly, why would you be the first one to go and do that?
No, I think that's the brilliant thing. I think like chatting to my mates sort of now about it more, because we do now more actually, is that even the guy in this group, because you all feed off each other.
Oh yeah.
And even the guy in the group, he would be in the one I would have thought was sort of pushing it the most, was almost the most like toxic in a way. He comes out and goes, "Oh no, I'm really having a bad time. Put so much stress on me. I really wanted to talk to someone," kind of thing. Paraphrasing completely, but
yeah,
you definitely see that. It wasn't that guy. Everyone was feeling that, but because no one talks, it's almost no one knows, which is silly.
And almost in some ways, everyone's hoping that someone starts talking, because if one person did it, then it does open that space. But no one wants to be the first one.
No one's going to be the first one. Not at all.
And yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Great.
Thank you so much for coming to chat with me. It's nice to catch up.
I will see you very soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, catch you soon, man.
Yes.
Right, love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right, and then to the editor, then you just cut it there. Perfect.
Yeah, done.